Insanity, insanity, whatever happened to humanity?
All right, this review is a special one. This is a special review because this review is going to welcome a lot of people. So I'm tiptoeing through a minefield right now, and I have not done this in a minute. Last time I've done this is when I was talking about Hogwarts Legacy, and that was a short video. It was a 15-second video just talking about how much I was liking the game, and it was triggering a lot of people. So I'm opening the door. I'm opening Pandora's box. No pun intended, right? Let's talk about Diablo 4. Now, Diablo has been around since the early 90s, and I was actually shocked when I was looking through some researches and some, just some information about the game. I was surprised that Diablo existed for that long. I'm like, Jesus, it came out on the PC first. It didn't come out on a consoles until much later. And actually, Diablo, the first one, is still on a PC. I don't think they're ever going to put that on the consoles. But Diablo has expanded. They only made 4 of them. They actually have a mobile game, if I'm not mistaken. And it has not only has increased the fan base, but it also divides the fan base to actually choose which is their favorite game of all time. And a lot of people will say Diablo 2. And that's normal. When you have franchises that have sequels, and they go back and forward, you're going to have fans, hardcore fans, and diehard fans that is going to tell people which one is the best of all time, and it expands to the point where you really can't deny that. You really can't fight that. I mean, Capcom has that as well. I just talked about Street Fighter 6, of how people thought that Street Fighter 2 was the best game of all time. Same thing with Resident Evil. Resident Evil has made so many games to the point where people still think that Resident Evil 2, the original, is the best one, and newcomers think that Resident Evil 4 is the best one. And I think that Resident Evil 4 is the best one, the original, not the new one. I'm saying that to say this. I haven't played Diablo. None of them. Except this one. So, any of you motherfuckers that play Diablo 2, and y'all spent 600 hours of gameplay to play that one, and y'all are literally butchering people talking about how good Diablo 4 is, and just literally just throwing their criticisms out the wind because y'all just can't stand how they changed the game up, get the fuck out of this video. Because by me not being a fan of Diablo, but now being a follower to the franchise, your opinion and your criticism don't matter here. Only if I am a fan just like you, then you can correct me. This is just me talking about if this game is good, if this game is fun, and if it's worth it to people that are newcomers just like me. Hope we got that clear. Because the last thing I need is sensitive people being sensitive about shit that they don't even fucking know. I love this game. I thought this game was great, fantastic. I have not been this attached to a video game in a long while. Now, to be fair, I reviewed Final Fantasy 16, and I can't compare them two, because that's like comparing boxing to martial arts. I love them both. So which one is better? I can't say. They both pleased me in different ways where I was satisfied in different aspects. I loved Final Fantasy 16 because it blew me away in where like they have went above and beyond, adding an immature rating, so they expanded their creativity. I love Diablo 4 because, first of all, I'm a fan of RPGs now, because Summoner has literally put me into the life of RPGs. And a good friend of mine, Matt, I have to give you another shout out, Matt. He knows that I'm a big fan of Summoner. I play Summoner and I play Summoner 2. I love those games to death. It's just something about those games that really pulled me in a lot. And he's a Diablo hard fan. He is. So if anybody that's gonna watch this review and criticize me, it has to be him, because at least I know him in person. But he literally told me to check out Diablo 4. Check it out. And I played it, and again, I loved it. And it's so crazy, because I love this game to the point where the hours was like minutes. I had spent over 100 hours in the game, and it felt like I just played it for like 2 days straight. It's that addicting. So for people who have never played Diablo and y'all own a fence to try it out, try out Diablo 4. You won't be sorry, especially if you got friends to play online with. Or just check out my streams and see if that'll convince you. Now, do you need to play the other Diablo games to understand the gameplay, story, and the characters of it? No, not really. They actually explain the characters of this game. They actually got more new characters than old characters on here. They got a handful of old characters, but you know the gameplay terminology as they explain it to you. They have to. But as for the story itself, I'm gonna have to say that the story you don't have to understand. You don't have to understand it by playing the other ones, because the story is very simple. In fact, it's so simple to the point where it's a letdown of its creativity of the lore of the franchise. The game just starts off by people summoning something that they thought it was treasure, and all of a sudden Lilith is reborn. And I was a little let down. I mean, even though the cutscene was great, it pulled me in, but just how she was summoned. You would think if she could have been summoned that easily, why did they not just do this ages ago? It felt like a 10-year-old kid could have made this damn story, honestly. And the reason why I'm bashing on the story is because of how vicious Lilith is. What can she do? And the main strength of her character, and a lot of people would agree with me on this, is just her persuasion, just her evil lust of just her getting vengeance of what happened to her dying son. I thought her evil wickedness was what made me like her a lot, especially when she tries to use her sex appeal and her her visuality to talk to people, even when she's angry. There were times where she would be angry, but you won't even know she's angry because she keeps a very, very solid tone of voice. I don't think she ever yells on this game, but that's what makes her scary, because you don't know what type of mood she has. I like Lilith. Lilith was a very deadly character, but I just wish they could have done very well. I just wish they could have done better of just how she was resurrected, honestly. Now, for newcomers of the game, do you need to play the originals to understand the gameplay of this? No, you don't. The gameplay is actually more than fun. It's very addicting. I have spent over 100 hours playing this game, and I was using the Barbarian. They were saying that the Barbarian is actually the newcomer starting point, and I agree. Because when I played as a Barbarian, not only was I playing as a Barbarian and I was enjoying it, but I instantly got my build mastered. I instantly got my build memorized. It took a couple of YouTube videos for me to see how the build was going to work and how it was going to like affect my character. But after 4 or 5 hours, I had the materials that I needed for my Barbarian, and it was actually hard for me to die. And after I beat the game, I immediately put it on Nightmare mode. I was not fucking playing at all. I played with some friends on there, but after a while, they was playing other shit, so I ended up playing by myself, but it did not take away from the overall fun of the gameplay's package. I was still having a fun time playing by myself, especially when I was playing with random people and just going through dungeons with them and just unlocking loot and doing events. The game's exploration will expand you when you play by yourself, but at the same time, you'll have more fun playing with friends. I like that mixture. You're going to have fun no matter what the circumstance is of how you're going to play this game, especially when you choose the build that you need. I've honestly played the Barbarian for so long to the point where I end up mixing it up. Now I'm playing as the Rogue, and I'm on level 40 with the Rogue. So I'm getting the hang of it. But honestly, my whole goal is to play each build and just see which one is my favorite. So far, the Barbarian is holding the torch. The Rogue is fun, but at the same time, it's a little bit the rogue can die easily if you don't know how to level up the way you need to. There's really no such thing as a boring class in this game. I have seen so many YouTube videos of people using the sorcerer, using the druid, using the rogue, using the barbarian, using so many builds to these characters, and they're just literally wiping out the enemies, and they're like 10 levels up higher than them, and I'm like, holy crap, man, like Jesus Christ, you know? Now, it's like a double-edged sword, because one thing I noticed about Blizzard, they update that game like every 2 days. And one thing I didn't like about them was that they nerfed my fucking barbarian. I was literally like one-shotting these enemies with the build that I had, and now I'm like, I'm getting hit or whatever, and they're beginning to take some good hits out of me. But it's like, dude, why is you doing that? It's not like I'm playing online. They do have like online fights on here, which is stupid. I tried doing it, but it's like, why would you want to do that? Just play with your friends and just unlock chests and just go through dungeons. But I feel like part of me did not mind that, because you need, a game like that. They doing well with all this other stuff, so what more can they add to the game? So they're gonna have some yin and yangs and certain kinks of this game that needs to be addressed when it comes to exploration of the material that is thrown at us. I guess I'll let that pass. But going back down to the point, I honestly don't think that the builds are going to matter if you're going to enjoy the game or not, because each of the builds, each of these classes is fun in its own way. I can't wait to get done with the rogue so I can try. I'm thinking about either doing the necromancer. I might do the necromancer next. We'll have to see. Overall, the game is fun. It passes as an RPG. It passes as a very fun online game. And above all, it passes as a game that is acceptable for newcomers to begin with from the Diablo franchise. But I will say this, though. The ending boss of Lilith could have been more creative. Maybe I'm thinking about it now. Maybe it's because of my barbarian build. I literally just blew her off the fucking wind. And then she transformed again, and then like she was a tad bit harder, but that's because she was like throwing projectiles at me, and then she was just literally just obliterating the ground, so the platforms can fall apart. So it would be harder for me to run around her. So that was it. I was more afraid of platforms and the projectiles than her herself. But other than that, man, I wish they could have had like a deadly cutscene where she takes you to another area, and and then she turns to this bigger enemy. There are actually more imposing, more deadlier, more hellish enemies on Diablo 4 than Lilith. And that's not good. that's not good. But overall, the game is fun. The game is fantastic. So don't believe these hardcore fans that's still holding on to Diablo 2 and just wishing that this game will be a reincarnation of a better version of Diablo 2. This is going to piss you off. I'm going to give this an A+. I love this game a lot. I like games that I can enjoy, and above all, that is recommended to people to play, even if they're playing by themselves or if they're looking to play with friends. People that I'm friends with normally just play multiplayer games to begin with, and when they watch my streams, they ask me, "This game was pretty interesting. Should I play it?" And I ask them, like, "Do you like playing with your friends?" They say, "Yeah, play it. Check it out." And at the same time, people will be a little frustrated of just the progression cycle of how Diablo 4 is when it comes to getting the loot, but that's everything. That's like every type of game that you're going to get with these type of loot drops and stuff like that. They do have microtransactions, but the microtransactions is not really that substantial of you trying to get the best armor possible. It's just there just to show you if you really do like the game, would you get this outfit, would you get that outfit. So the offer is there. It's up to your wallet and it's up to your taste if you're going to get it or not. But that's it. That's all I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. And above all, if you guys want to check out my streams, it's on a link in the description box. I hope you guys take it easy and you be safe.